people who have met their online friends. What made you instantly regret it? Met my best friend at the time on League of Legends. After talking every day for 3 years, I ended up moving to a state much closer to him, so we decided to finally meet. We talked before about all the things we do together and how awesome it would be. I loved him so much. He was there for me through so much and was a wonderful friend. He had a new girlfriend at the time of our meetup and he brought her along with him. I had no problem with this, because I did love to meet the woman who makes him happy. It was abundantly clear from the get-go that she wasn't a real big fan of me. I did my best to be kind, and still had tons of fun. I didn't hear from my friend much after that. A mutual good friend of ours messaged me, and when I asked about my best friend, they said that his girlfriend was telling people that I was basically an awful person for whatever reason. 3 years later and he is engaged to this woman and I am happy for him, but I have not spoken to him in those 3 years. I still miss him every day, and I wish I could be there for him on his wedding day. Not instant regret, but did make me realize things could have gone badly if this friend hadn't been a good human. I used to play Halo 2 with a guy, Molested Spartan. I always thought the name was hilarious, and he said it was what Xbox randomly assigned him when he let XBL choose his username. That has nothing to do with how the event went, just his name in case who's on Reddit lol. We were playing Halo one day and I made some off-the-wall comment about how bad traffic was due to them redoing one of our local roads, and he said his town was redoing a lot of roads too. I think I had a friend over or coming over, and I forgot to mute my mic and said the road he lived on, asking when he had to leave come over again. This was 15 yoctoseconds ago. A little fuzzy. Anyways, Molested Spartan was like, holy crap, do you live in Ziz? And I told him yeah. Turns out he lived like 5 miles away from me on the other side of town. We met up. I was about 11 or 12 at the time. He was like 17, and he went and bought me a burger and milkshake while we chatted. Pretty cool dude from what I remember. But when I got home I thought about how different that could have been if he wasn't just some high schooler trying to make a kid's night with a burger and shake. My brother met a girl in person that he had known for 4 or 5 years online, during which time they had kind of had an online relationship. She had brought her friend with her to meet him, and while they were sitting around a table awkwardly making conversation, with my brother apparently quite shocked at how bad she looked in person compared to how she looked online, and having absolutely no interest in her other than as friends, the girl sent her friend a message saying, get me out of here. He's looking at me like he wants to jump me, but she accidentally sent it to my brother. What ensued was likely incredibly painful to be part of. My brother showed her his phone and looked at her in disgust. Maybe not regret it, but it gave me years of depression. I met my best friend through Minecraft, never made friends in this, and I just wanted to play with someone. I have no idea why, so I complimented this girl's skin. We started talking. She was American. I am Polish and my English sucked. We moved to Skype and at first I mostly typed, but later on she started teaching me English somehow by talking with me. She was 1 year older. We knew each other for almost a year and I was staying up all night just to talk to her and her friends that she introduced to me. She was also depressed, so we talked with each other and she was the first person that truly listened to me. We had plans of visiting each other, and then our mutual friend told me she committed suicide. 4 years passed by and now at least I can talk about it and not cry. Still miss her very much though. I met my old friend on Roblox about 3 years ago, but he turned out to be like 40. You did say it was your old friend. She flew in town to be a bridesmaid in my wedding, and she decided to cheat on her husband with one of the groomsmen and blame me for that. Because it was my wedding, so that clearly makes it my fault she was unfaithful. Met a girl I really liked on WoW, but she lived in another country. After a couple of vacations there it turned into a relationship. Made the decision to move and start a new life there with her. After living there for 4 months I slowly realized she was crazy as heck. Huge mood swings paired with a lot of aggression. Ended up getting stabbed in the side by her while asleep. Needless to say, after getting out of the hospital I took the first plane back home. She is still in a psychiatric hospital. I invited him over to my house and he shat all over my toilet. Just to clarify, it was not in the toilet, it was on the seat and a bit of it landed on the floor. I have weird story about a lesbian I met online and eventually girl. For reference, I am a bi girl. We started talking after I made a comment on a lesbian forum about being a single lesbian mom. I still didn't know if I was bi or a lesbian at the time. We started messaging a lot, hundreds of texts a day. This included sexting and trading nudes a lot too, but she was always obsessed with my daughter, like almost demanding pictures of her and updates on her. Eventually we arranged to meet up. When we finally see each other in person, she looks shocked and asks where my daughter was. Being babysat by mom so we can have a date. I could tell this threw her off a bit. After our date we started hooking up at my place. Even then she was still asking about her. After this, can I meet her? Would you let me babysit? Do you think she started calling me mommy? I was like, chill, she S1. 5. This combined with her being obsessed with my daughter's stuff, including stealing a pacifier, a dirty onesie, going through the diaper pail. I decided this lady is crazy. She ended up stalking me for a while, but I was moving back in with my mom anyway, so I managed to escape. I was 13 and had a 20-year-old pen pal in Hong Kong, both of us female. We met on Tumblr and emailed each other regularly. My parents were CC'd in all our correspondence, and we basically just talked about our cultures. About a year of us talking went by, and she said that her university allowed her to study abroad in Europe for a semester and she chose my country. Fun. I was excited. However, some time went by and our friendship kinda faded, to the point where I had forgotten she was even coming to my country. About 2 weeks before she was supposed to come, she emailed me that her student accommodation had to be cleaned out, so she could not access it on the night that she arrived. She needed a place to stay for one night. I asked my mom and she agreed to pick her up from the airport with me, and she could stay with us for one night. I mean, we trusted this girl. I was very open about my friendship with her. We had pictures and everything. So 2 weeks later, we pick her up from the airport, and we didn't click. She kinda annoyed me, but it was late and so we just went home. We get home and get her settled. We went up to my room. She gave me some presents and we chat a little bit. She says thanks for letting me stay here this semester. Excuse me, this semester? I asked her, like, what do you mean? You can stay here tonight. We can see each other during the weekends if you want to hang out, but you cannot stay here. She goes quiet. We go to sleep. At this point I just wanted her to go away, and I got what I wanted. The next morning I wake up, and she is gone. I do not even know how she got out, because we lock the doors at night, but she just vanished. We have special locks that you need a key for to open, and the key was somewhere else in the house. Yes, I think this is a fire hazard. No, my mom cannot be convinced it's unnecessary. Her suitcase was still there. I tried calling her, she didn't pick up. She eventually texted me, asking if my mother could drop off her suitcase at a train station 40 minutes away at a certain time. My mother brought the suitcase, and that was that. Never seen her or spoken to her again after that. Update: now that I think about it, I have a theory about why this went down like it did. She most likely put down my address on her visa application as her place of residency during her stay and needed to stay in my house in case immigration was going to check if she was actually there. Also, for those wondering why she annoyed me, she treated my mother like a taxi driver and she shot down everything I said to her. She was rude to me until she gave me the presents, after which she directly started talking about staying with me the whole semester. She didn't want to talk to me after I said that I had told her she could stay for one night on that exact date. I told her we could discuss it with my parents in the morning. Her and my English were both great, and we had discussed specific dates. I didn't put this in the original comment because I didn't think this would blow up like it did. And I am not Irish, haha. Was at a really bad place, got bullied in school, was kinda chubby, and had some social anxiety. Went to LAN party with some friends I met over playing WoW. At the time I regretted it because they actually were good for me and gave me happiness. It ruined my then current plans for taking my life. Today I love them all more than life. Edit: thanks for all the lovely comments. I hope you all have a wondrous day. 3. The fact the guy kept calling his exes crazy. He forgot I know several of his exes and they were still are the least craziest people I know. When I was in high school I met a guy from a different high school in a local chat room. We hit it off and after a few days we agreed to meet up at the store I worked at once I finished work. Well, I guess he showed up a little early with a friend and came through my check stand. I thought it was him. We swapped photos, but I was really shy and didn't want to be wrong. I waited for him to introduce himself, but he never did, and he and his friend paid for whatever they had and left without conversation. I was still hopeful that wasn't he the guy, so I waited up for him for an hour after my shift. Of course, he never showed, because that absolutely was the guy. He must have been disappointed when he met me in the checkout line and instead of being a decent person and saying he wasn't interested, he just ghosted me. If I could go back in time, I definitely would have said something to him at the check stand. That's my one regret. Do dating app people count? Because he told me he was a vampire within 10 minutes. When I was 14 I had an online friend 2 states away who was 14. He and his mom took a trip to TLC me and the first thing we did when we saw Ecother was run full speed at one another. Our heads bounced off Ecother and I chipped my tooth and broke his braces. I am pretty sure his front tooth was also loose and had to go to the dentist to fix it. Lol. Edit. The video is down below if you wanna see it. And I've gotten this question a few times. We don't talk much at all anymore but I would consider us friends still. Met up with a friend I met and wow, I fell down steps. Instead of helping or asking if I am okay, she laughed hard, like, not breathing, on the floor, gasping for air, seal clapping hard. We've been friends for like 8 years ever since that and she still reminds me. Friend for 6 years flies over to Australia to hang with me for a month. Little did I know he was a bit taller than me. I was 5'10", he was, well, 6'7". I never knew he was this tall. He never talked about it, and when I was at the Brisbane airport waiting for him, I texted him stating I do not know where you are, to which he replied look up. Towering over everyone is this blonde guy that has the arm span of the airport lobby. I cried, we laughed, and I regret bringing him over because my ceiling almost hits his head. We went to a convention and he drunkenly told me and my boyfriend that he wished we weren't together so he could sleep with me. It was very awkward, and he is lucky my boyfriend now husband is a patient man. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.